Hello everybody, welcome back to Growing with TJ. You can see I'm out here in the garden. It's going to be a beautiful day, 80 degrees. We actually are going to have 3 days of 80 degrees and then it's going to fall back to normal. And then even next week, we're going to have lows 18, 20 degrees. So this is kind of like a fall spring. I want to get a lot of work done, take advantage of this nice day. This compost right here, all this brush and mess, I want to get put over here, make some compost bins and make space here so I can put new beds right here and try and maximize this area and just have more planting space. I got my blueberry plants, bushes that I want to fill up with compost and soil, and I want to plant them today. I got to make the beds, build them. 2 other beds that I want to build. And then I'm going to plant some peas, potatoes, carrots, radishes, maybe some spinach. We'll see how much time I have, but we're going to start planting directly into the ground and I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty much the start of the year. So come along with me and enjoy a beautiful day in the garden. So right now what I'm doing is I'm topping off all my beds. You can see how the soil sank. Obviously I'm pulling plants out and just naturally going to sink. So we're going to top this off. Already topped off my fabric pots. That bed, we'll move over here. Just top all the beds off to get ready to plant. Right here, this is compost that I get from my local compost facility. It's 40 bucks a year. You can dump whatever you want there and they make their own compost. So it's really nice to use. It's cheap and it's pretty good stuff. I mean, it's tough for you guys to see, but I'll bring you in closer, but it's decent stuff. It's probably not the highest quality, but for what I'm doing, I'm absolutely fine with that. So something you want to do is top your beds off, give them a little compost, and it will go a long way for you. I usually put about 2 to 3 inches of compost, and typically your bed will sink. And when you put 2 to 3 inches of compost on it, it's like exactly where you want it. So it actually works out very well. So I'll top this all off. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. I topped off these 2 beds here, and these are my pepper bed right here, and then this is where I put my tomatoes up this cattle panel. Now, ideally, I would have put compost in all the beds over a month ago, but I'm a little bit behind. So these 2 beds are fine because I'm not going to be planting tomatoes or peppers anytime soon. And then these beds over here, I should have done it already. In this bed, I am going to get my first direct sowing done of the year. I'm going to put peas across the back here. I'm going to do carrots and radishes, maybe the whole way down. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do want to have a lot of carrots to put on the stand, which I've never grew to put on the stand. I just grew for myself, but I want to try and have something a little earlier than the summer crops. Tomatoes, peppers. So right here is the green arrow shelling pea. A really good pea, and it is a shelling pea, so you don't eat the pod. You'll break it open and get the little peas out. I like doing that with the kids. They enjoy that. So the peas I'm going to put fairly close. You can see they're pretty big, and I'm just going to put them on maybe about a ½ inch away. And I just put them on down the line just like that. And then I'll come back through and push them down. Now you can pre-sprout these with a paper towel if you wanted to. Sometimes I do have trouble with them germinating early on in the year. But if I do, then I will just put some more in. It's not a big deal. So this is where you're just going to go the whole way down They're gonna grow up this trellis right here. I'll stop there for you. You guys get the picture. And then I just come through and push them down I go about 1 inch deep. Just push them in. I feel like this is the easiest way to do it. You could put holes and then drop your seed in. But if I do that, that works fine. I don't have my tags made up yet, which is not smart. So I'm just gonna mark that right there like that. Mark this so I know where I stop so I can continue. And then just cover them up. And that's your peas. I will go the whole way down. Now up here, I'm gonna put some carrots. And I think I'm gonna go with the Orange Fancy F1OG. Now carrots can be tough to germinate. That is definitely a fact. I'll show you what I do to try and help make sure that they get germinated. But another thing that I do with carrots is I got pelleted seeds, and that's kind of what I've started to do, is get pelleted seeds. You know, I still will have to thin out, but I want to thin out as much. I used to just sprinkle it like that, and you got to go through and thin them out, and it's kind of a pain. So I'm trying these pelleted seeds that I used last year, and I really liked them. Now for the carrots, I'm going to make some holes. I'll make my holes. And you don't have to go deep with carrots, I just kind of make a little divot. You can see I'm putting a lot in a little area, and that is just fine. All right, so I got enough holes here. I'll go through, and I usually only put 1 in, 1 or 2. If I drop 2 in there, that's not a big deal. You know, 1/4 inch deep is plenty. You don't want to go really much farther than that. All right, so you see I got them in there. Now I will just cover them up just like that. Nothing crazy. Make my mark. There you go. Drop the pea seed. Throw that in there. So that is the Orange Fancy. I've finished planting them. I will water them in. And then the one thing that I like to do that I'll show you is I like to put a board over top. A board, some type of wood, anything to cover it up and make sure the soil stays moist. You really need the soil to be moist for carrots to germinate. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They don't keep it moist and they never see the carrots germinating. Carrots can take a while to germinate. They take anywhere from 14 days, 21 days. So I'll keep checking, seeing if I see any carrots popping up. And if I do see them popping up, I gotta get the board off. Now when that happens, you know, they all should start coming up around the same time, but you still gotta keep it moist because once you take the board off, it's gonna dry out quicker. And you might have some that germinated right here, but over here, you know, they didn't germinate yet, so you don't want that to dry out and you might not see any germinations from this side. All right, so this is where I planted my Purple Heart radishes. You can kind of see the holes and the spacing that I do. Just drop 1 or 2 seed down here. Then I'll cover them up as well. So we got carrots, radishes, and along the back we have peas. Now I'm going to do more carrots. I'm going to do more radishes down here. And then I'll wait for a couple weeks until I plant more radishes and more carrots. All right, so I got this bed all planted. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying covered up with the board. I got my carrot area here covered up with the board. I just use any scrap that I've laying around. And then right here, more carrots, radish, and in the back, all peas. So let's go over and plant some potatoes. One of my favorite things to grow in the garden is potatoes. I can't get enough of potatoes. And I like to grow them in these fabric pots. You know, these are 30 gallon or 25. I usually go at 30 or 25 gallon. And it's a nice way to grow potatoes so you're not taking up a bunch of space. you know, in your garden, your actual garden. Now you can hill potatoes, but I find in a fabric pot, there's no need to hill them. You know, I fill this up to pretty much the top and I'll put them in and I'll just leave it as is like that. What I like to do is throw a couple hands of fertilizer. This is a granular. This is garden tone. And I'll mix it in the soil real nice. And I will do this again later in the season. They'll also get water soluble fertilizer. So these amount of handfuls, mix it in just like that. And that's all that takes. Planting potatoes in fabric pots are pretty easy. Another thing I like to use is potash. It just helps with the root system, makes a healthy plant. So I put in 2 sprinkles of that, not too much. And that is all the fertilizer I will be putting in to start. Now, here's my potatoes. These are German Butterball from last year that I harvested. Hopefully you can see that, but you got the eyes right here. So I did pre-sprout these. You can do that. If they're not sprouted, like these guys that I just purchased, that's okay. They're starting to a little bit. You can still put them in the pot and then they will still grow. So what you want to do is take your eyes, you want them pointing up to the sky. I got, what, 3 here is nice. I make a little hole about 4 to 6 inches deep. I plant it down with the eyes pointing up to the sky. In a fabric pot like this, I'll probably put 4 or 5. Especially my early season potatoes, I'm okay with them being small. That's not a big deal for me. So we get a bunch here. If you've got any pointing down, you can take that off. Put that down. Couple eyes on that one. This is number 4. Then I'll get one more that looks good. We'll do this one right here. Put it down, and then I'll just cover them up just like that. And that's all it takes. I'll water it in, put my plant tag there, and that'll be it. Now, we might get some freezing weather here, but these will be under the ground, so they'll be okay if we get a nice frost. And by the time they do start popping up, you know, our weather should be fine. We're just gonna have a couple nights in the 20s, but after that it will be, you know, 40s, maybe in the 30s at night, but overall the temperatures during the day are in the 40 and 50s. So plant potatoes, that is the German Butterball. I will plant these. I got another one I'm planting, then I'll wait a few weeks and I'll plant 2 more, wait a few weeks, plant 2 more, and I'll just continue to do that. And that way I have waves of potatoes. I'm not getting them all at once, and I'll have potatoes all throughout the spring into the summer. This is where I am planning to put my blueberry plants. Again, it's going to be somewhat of an experiment. You can see right now it's very shady. Get some sun in the morning, then shady for a while until the sun gets over here. Now in the summertime, it gets a lot of more sun because the sun tracks farther and it's, you know, it stays lighter later. I'm still going to cut down some of these trees so that hopefully it gets some sun, but we will see what happens. I got to build one more bed. This is Birdie's raised beds. You can see, I think they're plenty big for 3 blueberry bushes. I'm going to put them right here. I will put mulch down eventually. I still have to level out the ground. But I'll have one here, and one here. At least enough space that I can walk through. I can weed whack if I have to. Like I said, I'm probably going to put mulch around here. I'm going to get rid of these trees right here. That way I can still mow back here. I'm going to really try to take care of this area where all this wild stuff grows. I already cut down a bunch of these thorny vines and stuff, so we'll see how that goes. But we're going to put them in here. I'll show you how I plant them when I get to that point. But for now, I'm going to start building the other bed, level out the ground, and I'll start filling these up with soil. This is what I'm thinking for my blueberries. You know, it's kind of a tight space. I'm just trying to fit them in here and see if I can make it work. I only have enough to fill up this this bed, so gotta level this a little bit more. It's not perfectly level, but that's what happens when you rush. You're running out of time. So don't be like me, make sure you make it level. In the long run, it's going to really help you. But I will plant one of these. Right here, we got a Reka, Northern High Bush blueberry, a blue crop, and I think this is another blue crop. Yeah, so I wanted to plant these in the fall. Broke my pinky, had surgery, so I could not, plant them. So I gotta plant them now. I'll plant this one, then I'll do these two probably this weekend or something. So blue crop, Reka, and blue crop. So let's put them in the ground and see how I do it. I think we will put a blue crop in here. So I filled this up. I have some peat moss in here I mixed in. I put some garden tone, and I also put some of this soil acidifier. This is what I do with my blueberries that are in a pot, a large pot, and they've done very well. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. Blueberries don't necessarily grow, their roots don't grow very deep. However, they like to spread out. So that's why I got something a little bigger. I think it should work. It's plenty deep enough, but hopefully they can grow out and be successful. So we'll get this out of here. So I'm gonna put it right in the middle. Let's make a decent sized hole for them. Now I don't want to plant it. I'm gonna plant it right at the soil level that you see right here. All right, it's not too root bound, honestly. We'll take a little bit of it out. That looks about right. I will put some more of this soil acidifier in as well. And a handful of the garden tone, because that's gonna feed it. I did already prune these a little bit. See how that looks. Pretty good. And then I'm just gonna fill it in. I'm not a blueberry expert, but I do got quite a few growing in pots, and they have been producing a lot of blueberries. So there you go. So with the soil acidifier, I do that in the fall and I do it in the spring, at least for my pots. This is a little larger than my pot, so I might have to change it up. We'll see. I never test the pH. I judge it by how they're growing. And the ones in the pots grow very well, and they've been producing a lot of blueberries. So you can test it if you want. They do like acidic soil. Now let me find this blue crop. I'll put that right here. And hopefully in a few years, I'll have a bunch of blueberries back here. Kids can come out, pick them, enjoy them. That's the plan and the hope anyways. So this is a blue crop blueberry in the ground, or a raised bed for that matter. I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. I hope you enjoyed spending the day with me in the garden. We got potatoes planted, carrots, radishes, peas. We got a blueberry bush put in the ground. Made progress there. Still got to get the other two in. I did clean this up a little bit. I took some to the compost center, but it's gonna be a work in progress. The beds I'm gonna put here are gonna be summer crops, so I just have to keep working on it. I'm thinking about seeing if I can get some type of tractor and kind of get this out of here and just start fresh with the compost, because it is a bunch of stuff. Or I'll just keep taking it to the compost facility and just keep a little bit over here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and we'll be back here again soon, planting some more crops, some lettuce, and keep direct seeding some more things. And what a beautiful day it was, 81 degrees. I enjoyed it, got a lot of work done, made the most of it, and we'll go back down to cooler temperatures here in a few days. Have a wonderful day. Keep on growing.